So if you're new to my channel and you've been browsing around my videos, you might be a little bit confused because I have one video that is titled, So ... I'm not autistic. But then I have another video that's titled, So turns out I am, #actually autistic. So what is it? What am I? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Megan and welcome to Neurodivergent Magic, the YouTube channel for relatable and accessible neurodivergent content. Today I want to talk about the reasons that I thought I couldn't be autistic and why I was absolutely wrong. Reason number one, I was dismissed at every turn by professionals. My therapist at the time, who claimed to work with neurodivergent people, said she, quote, just didn't see that in me, despite having done no professional testing. My psychiatrist, who I am unfortunately still seeing, told me that I couldn't be autistic, or if I was, it wasn't that severe, because I wasn't, quote, rocking back and forth and rambling about dinosaurs. If you want to learn more about that, go watch the vlog that I made immediately following that visit. The people who were supposed to help me did not take the time to listen to me. They dismissed me out of hand, and because they're the professionals, I believed them. Reason number two is that I have been wrong about diagnoses before. I've made a whole video about my diagnosis journey, so you can go check that out if you want to know more, but essentially, I thought I had bipolar disorder for a long time, and it turns out I don't. When I started getting obsessed with autism, I was really worried the same thing was happening, that I was just obsessed with another diagnosis that was going to turn out to be completely wrong. The third reason I thought I couldn't be autistic is because I thought I didn't have social issues. And isn't autism a primarily social deficits-based disorder? Well, first of all, not everyone's in agreement that it's actually a disorder, so for right now, we're gonna call it a condition. And second, I absolutely did have social issues. They were just sneakier. And some of them weren't so sneaky at all. Some of them were glaringly obvious. For example, I wrote a thesis when I was in college, and I had a thesis director, and we had to have one-on-one meetings fairly regularly. And I made eye contact with him, but it made my eyes water because I was so nervous to be around him, and looking into his eyes felt like I was staring into his soul, which was very uncomfortable, and it was just hard. And so he would always ask what was wrong, and so I would lie and say I had a cold. So this man thought I had a cold for 4 years because the eye contact never got any easier. Some of the sneakier social issues that I noticed were things like getting really excited to see my friends or family, but then when they actually came over, I would find myself wanting to be alone again. I also realized through doing my autism research that I have a pretty atypical conversational tempo, which basically means sometimes people will say things to me and I simply will not respond. And I think that that's okay. It was only after meeting my husband, who is much more direct than a lot of other people, who he would just say, "What? Why are you not responding? Like, hello?" And I would be like, I was thinking about my response. And he's like, okay, then tell me that so that I know what's going on. I can't read your mind. And that actually brings me to reason number 4 that I thought I couldn't be autistic. I have pretty successful social relationships in my life. Not only did I think I didn't have social issues, but even if I did have social issues, they clearly weren't impairing my life because I was happily married and have a handful of friends. That is, until I realized how many accommodations were built into those successful relationships. I'm just gonna brag on my husband for a second because he doesn't watch these videos, so he's never gonna know, but my husband is the best, everybody. He accommodates me at every turn without me even having to ask half the time. He was accommodating me before I even realized I was autistic. For instance, sometimes I have non-speaking episodes, which if you want to learn more about that, I have a video about that you can check out. But sometimes I go nonverbal and I can't speak, and that has happened to me pretty much my whole life when I'm particularly anxious. And my husband, before he even knew I was autistic, before I ever asked him to do any of this, would just say, like, when he noticed I was going like non-speaking, he would say, "Oh, are you nonverbal right now?" And usually I can like nod or something, or I just wouldn't respond if I couldn't. And he would be like, "Okay, just let me know when you want to talk. I'm right here. I love you." If you have very accommodating friends or family, that might seem really normal, but I have other people in my life who haven't necessarily been all that accommodating of my autistic traits. They have more wanted me to grow out of them or wanted me to toughen up out of them. But my husband's never expected that from me. He's always just let me be myself. And that makes relationships much easier to be successful for an autistic person because I could just be myself with him and trust that I would be accommodated. And honestly, I should brag on my friends too. A lot of my friends are the same way. They were accommodating a lot of my signs of neurodivergence before I ever even knew what that word meant. Reason number 5 that I thought I couldn't be autistic was that I thought I didn't stim, which looking back now is hilarious. First of all, pretty much every human alive stims to some degree. And stimming, if you don't know, it means self-stimulatory behavior. And no, it's not dirty. It just means that you are providing yourself with some sort of like sensory input in order to help stimulate your nervous system. And pretty much everyone does it, but neurodivergent folks tend to do it a lot more. But I always thought stims were these like uncontrollable things, and the fact that I could control my stims and often chose not to engage in them, I thought that meant I couldn't be autistic. But really, I have the urge to stim all the time. In between takes of this video, I am twirling my hair and bouncing my knee. There's a lot of reasons I thought that I couldn't be autistic, but it basically boils down to this. We have had one traditional narrative of what it looks like to be autistic. And it's not that that narrative is incorrect. There are many people who fit the stereotype of autism. So I in no way want to diminish or dismiss that narrative or that point of view or that way of existing. It just isn't mine. And that doesn't mean that I'm not autistic. It just means that I don't fit one very narrow stereotype. It's time that we broaden our horizons for what it means to be autistic. Of course, we're always going to need textbooks and diagnostic criteria and studies on these things. But you know what we also need? We need lived experience. We need to hear about the lived experience of a wide variety of autistic people. And that's why I make these videos, because I know that there's another autistic person out there watching this feeling so seen. And I just want you to know that you're okay the way that you are. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.